of that nature to be able to verify that people are actually voting and not this make believe uh, this make believe voting effort to disenfranchise other people by voting multiple times with one person.
Yeah, and another thing that happened was that the main agencies that protect our elections were gutted. So CISA and the EAC, which are the two most important agencies when it comes to the free and fair administration of our elections, um, that both were gutted. And the people who have been acting in those capacities are not in a basically they're not going to be supporting our elections, not in the way that they used to be. And one of the things that's true about our elections is that they're run across it's over 10,000 jurisdictions across the country, and lots of times just there's people who need help, they just need support because it's hard to run these elections, especially in counties that aren't really big, and they're not going to get the support that they need. And that could lead like cheating is almost secondary. Like the incompetence and the like mistakes that are gonna get made are gonna be off the chart.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we deal with every 2 years, whether it's our general election or it's our local elections or midterm elections. You've got to make sure that when you go into your polling place, that those machines are set up and that they're available for people with disabilities. And half the time when you go in there, either they don't have the machine hooked up, they don't know how to use the damn thing, or it's broken. And they're supposed to have 2 accessible machines per polling place, regardless, period, end of report. And so they get really fucking nervous when we go in to vote, because when we go in person, there'll be people standing all over that polling place with canes and waiting, because we're not leaving until you fix that fucking machine. And so you've got to have people that are willing to do that and willing to stick it out. And also the fact that our elections have gotten so damn hinky in the last 12 years because of who we had. Not only did we have the institution of paper ballots, which have been going on for 150 years, we have had that absolutely destroyed and actually put into a light that will never recover, because you had enough people that were treating it dishonestly, and all these damn scandals of all these paper ballots being in ditches and shit. It's just crazy. Not only that, but you had Elon Musk sitting there selling people on signing up as Republicans, paying them, and then putting them into a drawing for $1 million. You guys remember that? That was so illegal, it's unreal. Not to mention the fact that after the election, Trump even stood on a podium and said, Elon worked those machines really good in Pennsylvania, didn't he? You guys remember that comment? Because he said it right out loud. Not even one person blinked an eye. Nobody. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about having to hang on to our right to vote by the skin of our teeth, because if they can, they're going to rip it away. They've been trying so hard. I'm sorry, I'll be quiet.
No, you're good. I saw a story. I don't know if it was, and I know Lisa's not here, but I thought it was pretty crazy. They stole a submachine gun out of the governor's security detail car. Was it yesterday or some shit?
Oh yeah, you just seen what happened at the beginning of this month. All of our systems were fucking hacked. We had no that whole week heard about this. Nobody heard shit. Nobody knew shit. Our state offices were closed for the first week of September, you guys. Every state agency was shut down. Even my office, I work at the Northern Nevada Center for Independent Living. I don't care if people know anybody. But we have certain things that are, we have government funding. And so our servers and things, our reporting, our PPR and all that was all offline. We couldn't access
somebody hacked
drives. Huh?
Somebody hacked it.
Yeah, if you guys look, I swear to Hannah, our welfare offices, our DMVs, all of our state offices were all closed. There was nothing. They weren't taking phone calls. Their phone systems were down. I mean, and then what? Just the other day in New York, they had like 100. They found 100,000 SIM cards and all the networking, everything they needed to shut down the whole grid in New York, the whole cellular grid. They were planning on shutting it down because of the UN meeting that was happening. You know,
I saw that. You said I talked about it yesterday, but I saw that.
Yeah.
On the internet, but I thought it was some meme
What?
type of joke, so I didn't pay more
No, that's not a joke.
attention. It was real. Oh,
No, it's real. It's real. They had 100,000 SIM cards so that they would be able to have 100,000 phones under their control.
so if you
It's
do the
not a joke.
math, they said the population of the United States, they could dial everyone in America within 42 seconds. That's really, really a mighty system. I'm glad they shut that down. That's really bad. Whoa.
They weren't trying to reach out to a bunch of people. They were trying to prevent that many people from using their phones and communicating. And they were using an outside network for encrypted messages back and forth. But they were planning on shutting the whole cellular program in New York State completely down. I don't know what they planned on doing with it, but they were stopped.
I go after a particular person with this network or whatever this thing.
Yeah, there was a UN conference. There was a UN conference in New York. That's what the target was.
Reach beyond that. You're saying it would have shut down the entire state or something. Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, but that was to cover up who they really were trying to control, and that was that UN conference. Was it a UN what was the meeting called that they
The
had?
UN General meeting where
There you go. That's it.
all the leaders meet up. Yeah, it was sophisticated. I mean, I was pretty impressed that they had all that.
Yeah, they had it all over the place, covering their ass, so it could have been really, 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 really bad. And eventually somebody's going to be successful. I mean, this month alone, like I said, it was just the state of Nevada, but next thing you know, it could be anybody else. With their systems.
And that's my fear. I think that's the only thing I don't like. I think when you have a president that's a little bit more like aggressive, I think he said to Russia, tell Poland go ahead and shoot him down. I think when you start doing that, you kind of put the country at risk. I think I don't like that. Those are kind of some things I'm not really feeling right now because I don't need Russia fucking with New York City or California, places like that, trying to shut down the economy or Wall Street.
Okay, guys, let me bring you guys back around to make sure we covered everything before we I hope you guys have enjoyed the room because I have very much enjoyed the conversations that you guys have been having. Yes, they've been contentious. Yes, they've been spicy. Yes, we don't agree. I didn't expect us to agree. I have never been in a room on Clubhouse where everybody agreed. But it's the way it's handled. And then I've been even in religious rooms where it gets a little spicy and contentious. But we seem to be able to come here every single day and talk about what's going on in our country. And we're going to have to do it. If you guys like, we can have prayer room tomorrow where we all just come in and give testimony and prayer. We can do that, and we'll see how that goes. But today, in this country, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's very troubling, and we just have to talk about it. And this is a political room, even though it says 420, it's still a political room. It's definitely a political room, and we try to deal with facts as much as possible. And I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to fact check everything everybody was saying tonight, but I'm trying to juggle things around over here. So we did talk about the person that shot up the detainee facility, and I think I forgot how many were killed.
One killed, one injured, and he killed himself.
Okay, so that takes care of that. It's the open shut case. And we don't know why he did it. We don't know what. I'm sorry?
because that's in Dallas. That's in Dallas. In downtown Dallas, they already had a shooting before where a man opened fire on the crowd of people at a march. It's just really bad from a perched position. It's really, really
But you
concerning.
guys don't want to give up your guns, though. So what do you guys want
Well,
to expect?
we've tried to at least Beto O'Rourke. I know I've always wanted sensible gun laws and that kind of stuff, but at the minute that you try to say anything, you get shouted down or whatever out here. And it's the state doesn't want to change it, but there are people that want sensible gun laws. And even when that Uvalde shooting happened, people argued and wanted laws changed because kids lost their lives. And so it's up to the state to budge and make these changes because people are now losing their lives, from positions that you no longer can defend. People are no longer going to walk into this or that. They're shooting from rooftops. That's really concerning. And it's
Yeah, but
very
But you guys don't want to give up
It's
your
not
guns. So
it's
it's
not
going
the
to
state.
keep happening in this country. It is not going to stop. You don't want to give up your guns. It don't matter if you have psyche valves. It don't matter if you. Only thing that's going to matter, the red flag laws. If you have whatever the case may be. Only thing that's going to stop this is if you limit people's purchase of bullets. Maybe you can only get 1 or 2 bullets, and you'll still do it. It's just crazy. And you don't want to give up your guns. So people in this country are going to die. Children, adults, elderly, dogs, anything and everything that can be killed is going to be killed in this country. So I don't even know why we keep having these conversations like we really care, because we really don't care.
Because it's not the officials, y'all. It's the voters. Because they wouldn't be able to do this shit if you would vote. Like, if people would actually use their right to vote and vote correctly instead of being so scared to lose their rights. Because that's the thing, is that you love something enough, you let it go. If it was meant to be, it'll come back. People are holding on to these damn gun rights like there's nothing else on the other side. But you can't have no nonsense or gun legislation unless you're willing to give up a little bit of that control. So it's like a fucking chicken and egg scenario where gun violence is concerned, and it's not the state that is making these laws; it's the people voting. It's why we're being so particular about these redlining and gerrymandering. That's why we don't want these districts redrawn. Is because they're making it so that they can keep their gun rights, and so that there can't be no nonsense gun legislation in place. So if you want to be fussing at people, fuss at the voters. Because a politician ain't gonna do nothing but shake your hand and smile to your face. But you get people voting. That's what makes the difference. I'm gonna be quiet now. Oh, Lisa, but before I stop, were you in here when TC admitted that he was booty clapping for Biden?
That he admitted that he was.
Yes, girl, I have him.
Now tell me, you mean he was lying?
He admitted that he jumped the fence, that he was booty clapping for Biden until whenever he decided to change his mind, and now he's a Trump.
So he was always a Republican. Is that what he said?
But he's a wishy-washy flip-flopping motherfucker. No, he was all about Biden. You remember when we first started on Clubhouse when we were all in Million Marathon, and then they started the debate the news, and he was all in there about Biden, da da da. And then when we came up for the election the first time with Trump, it was like flipped a switch in him or something. I don't know.
But pretend like it happened in this room. I don't know.
No, it was before this room even was made, Miss Lisa.
No, but that's what he tells everybody.
Yeah, I know. That's why he tried on the room tonight. Oh, Mona, now he's going to say, no, he didn't. Don't put that collar on me. But no, yeah, it was kind of funny, actually.
Well, let me go back and listen to the replay. But, y'all, let me tell you something. There's been, the only numbers that are in are from 2023, and almost 50,000 people have died of gun-related injuries in the United States. almost, it's 47,000, but I just rounded up. It's That's just ridiculous. It's just no goddamn excuse for it, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. So the next thing, let's see. Oh yeah, I don't know if anybody heard that we were talking about Jimmy Kimmel, and because it was going back and forth so long, I went to play the actual clip, but we'll save that for another day because I think we exhausted the Jimmy Kimmel uh, conversation. But there was a Trump Epstein statue that was on the National Mall. They were given permission to put it up there. It was supposed to be up there for 5 days. I don't know if it made it, but it's actually Trump and Jeffrey Epstein holding hands and looking like they're running through a field of miners. I put that in. But that is removed from the National Mall. I'm surprised it lasted a day, but it's been taken down. Um, let's see.
You got to keep it and take it home. You know somebody did.
I hope whoever took the time out to make it, because it's very lifelike. So I hope
Oh,
they got it.
that would be
I
so
hope they got it.
funny. Oh my God, put it in their front yard. Oh,
30 minutes Swedish tonight.
Yeah, and that weirdo Trump is demanding an investigation into what he's called the triple sabotage at the United Nations. He made a fool of himself. Now he's saying that somebody tried to stop the escalator on purpose, that somebody tried to sabotage the mic, because when he started talking, remember he didn't have any audio? I don't know what the third one was, but he thinks everything. The teleprompter?
Yeah, the teleprompter went out. Too.
He can't read
How
anyway.
ridiculous does
Oh.
this sound to you, MAGAs in here? How ridiculous does that sound? That somebody is trying to rig
All right,
his so-called speech at the UN.
In addition,
Really?
have you watched the video?
I've seen it. I played clips on it. I have heard it so many times. And what are you trying? Are you guys just innate?
No, have you watched the video of the
Oh, it's. Oh,
what do you call it, the escalator? Did you see when the escalator went out? Right when they got on?
And do you know why it went out?
Why?
Because his cameraman triggered that button. Let me go and get this for you guys. You guys never try to investigate.
What's your cameraman?
The base
His cameraman.
package.
Let me find out. Let me find
Okay.
out.
I didn't
He
see that.
accidentally hit the emergency button.
There's a button on
Yeah.
every fucking escalator. Okay, let me do it.
Yeah, if you can find that video, because I did not know that, because they're still investigating. So I'm surprised. Like that would have been an easy, like, okay,
Yeah, it's too easy.
yeah, because the cameraman, you can find a cameraman like you're
The
fired.
base
You're
package
fired.
is a
And
lot
you probably will be.
But the then you have the escalator, and then you have the teleprompter, and then when the teleprompter went back up, the mic was low, so people couldn't hear him.
Oh,
That
well.
was the mayor trying to suck his
Do you
ass
know how many
in.
times that happens though?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's like we're acting like are you guys going to be some unusual event? Okay.
I think there was an article.
Okay,
I'll
there
find
it
it
is.
right now.
Here it is. Here it is. I found the article. And please don't ask me to put it in the chat. Okay, it's ABC News, and it's by Abigail Williams, and September 23rd at 7 p.m. The United Nations has concluded its one-day investigation into mysterious President Donald Trump's escalator Tuesday as he arrived at the UN General Assembly. The accidental culprit, a White House videographer who most likely tripped the safety mechanism. I've seen people do that in the fucking mall. If you touch that button that's there for an emergency, it's actually usually covered with one of those things like the fire pools are, and that's what happened. But we're in here trying to blame it on some like conspiracy to have him and Melania fall down the stairs. It would only be so nice, but that's not what happened. The escalator stopped after a built-in safety mechanism on the comb step was triggered at the top of the escalator. The escalator mechanism is designed to prevent people or objects accidentally being caught are stuck or pulled into the gearing. Now,
In unison.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good one. So the cameraman, it sounds like was trying to film them. He stepped on it and that triggered it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
And it's not uncommon. I mean, every year we have the National Federation of the Blind Convention, and we always have escalators in the hotel. And they always, for some reason or another, they're having to stop it for a little while to either work on it or there's something that's happened because there's been so many people. But that happens all the damn time. So he's just being paranoid.
And okay, so then the other thing, the teleprompter. I just love the truth. A UN official told NBC News that the White House was responsible for operating Trump's teleprompter. What should we
It
say?
sound like somebody internal. It sound like this is an inside job they trying to fuck with him.
But why does everything have to be a fuck with Trump situation? It's just life. If my fucking tire goes
They
down,
might not like the boss. They might not like him. They might not like him. Maybe like maybe he yelled at them or did something that pissed them off, and they just wanted to fuck with him. Who knows? You never know. It's the what did Schumer say one day? The 7 ways to get you back to Sunday.
it's a perpetual victim. That's all this is. It's ridiculous. Nobody else is crying like a little bitch but him. Every time something happened. Did he fire his fucking makeup crew that had him looking like he was a bird? Thank you. That's what he needs to be firing. The person who applies all that fucking dust to his face. That shit, he needs to fire that person.
Well, he's got a habit of having incompetent people doing everything for him, so it's not surprising he would have somebody that wouldn't be properly working the teleprompter. Not to mention, does he ever actually read a teleprompter? I didn't know he could
He
read.
does read the teleprompter. That's from
I didn't know he could. Oh.
So I think it's just bad, like it's unprofessional, right, and unbecoming to actually say that something is what you think before you know, right?
Right, thank
Like,
you.
at the MetaConnect conference, which happened this week or last week, Mark Zuckerberg had a glaring, well, we call it demonitis in the industry, right? And it's just when things, well, what can go wrong will go wrong, and it's how you handle that, you know? And you know what made Zuckerberg shine? Is that he smiled it off, and everybody understood these things happen. It's not a personal attack, you know? If he found out later that it was, he could have came out if he wished to, or he could just privately, you know, handle that situation. Or for Trump to do that on the world stage showed how petty he is.
Well, he could have handled it with a bit of class. You know, he didn't have to make it some huge, oh, they're out to get me thing. He could have just been a lot more classy and just said, hey, you know, shit happens. And just let it go and just whoosh-hod. But he's got to make everything, you can't waste a crisis with this man. He's got to make it all just hyperbolic and crazy.
Always a victim.
Yeah.
They out to get me. They out to get me. But the thing about it, what about your boy Macron? He is the leader of his country, and he had to walk for 30 minutes. Did he start crying? He probably didn't even have comfortable shoes. He had to walk because Trump had all the shit blocked off, and he called him and he said, I would be there, but you have everything shut down. And he didn't say, well, let me come and have one of my guys get you, come pick you up and bring you. No, he got out and had to walk for 30 minutes.
You know, Macron handled that really, I think, elegantly. You know, they made a social event of it, you know? And last thing I wanted to say, though, about this whole thing about messaging, right, and the stature. Trump was speaking to an audience, right? And it was the world stage. They're not interested in his escalator. You know, they can understand that things happen. You know, what they're interested in is how he's going to integrate, you know, America and policy and all this other stuff. And that's about less than 5% of what we heard in that speech.
Right. and he just bitched about, what was wrong, who trying to sabotage him, talked about what he did for 7 wars. He literally lied for an hour and making us look dumber than people already thought we are. And all we do sit here is try to, I don't have right now, I don't have anything good to say about President Trump. You know why? Because he's not giving me anything good to say. So I'll let you guys keep holding him up and exalting him over just shit. I mean, really. I would love to have, I wish would come back, and I really wouldn't offend him. I'll even take George Bush, the son. I couldn't stand him.
You gotta fuck up with that,
I will take anybody at this point.
Yeah, we take Nixon over this shit right now.
Yeah, I would take Nixon.
I mean, he could sign it right on out the door. I'm not
Exactly,
a
because he said I'm not a crook, and we don't care anymore.
I'll take Reagan, I'll take Nixon, I'll take fucking Lyndon B. Johnson. The one who they can sit in your face and they will tell you the truth.
Oh,
They'll play their games.
be.
They'll play their games, right?
Right, but they still took care of America at the end of the day.
If they take a shit, they can sit there.
Millions of Muslims and soldiers have been hurt because I think Bush policies were horrible.
Oh,
sorry.
totally.
Oh, well.
I
Do you know the oldest soap in the world? The most famous one is Aleppo soap, and its history goes all the way back to 380 BC. Its recipe is simple, but completely natural, made only with olive oil, laurel oil, and water. Don't underestimate it. It not only cleans effectively, but also moisturizes your skin. Even today, it remains widely popular, but you might be surprised at how labor-intensive its production is. Craftsmen first press olives into an oil-water mixture, then continuously heat and stir it for 3 days until it becomes a thick paste. Next, they pour the hot paste on the floor, sprinkle soap powder on top, and transfer it into wooden molds. It sits for 2 days to cool and harden. After solidifying, the craftsmen trim the surface with a spatula, cut it into neat bars, and stomp each one with a unique seal. The stamped Aleppo soaps are stacked with gaps in between to allow complete drying, usually for at least 6 months, before being shipped around the world. This small bar of soap carries centuries of craftsmanship.
The protocols for Medicaid and the standards have been raised so that you don't qualify. So I lost my Medicaid this year because I made $300 a month too much. And so now I'm having to pay not only $185 a month for my Medicare premiums that I'm having to pay out of my pocket now, my rent also got raised to $165 a month because of the way that they're calculating housing right now too.
This is crazy.
So my bills went up $360 a month this year, and that may not sound like a lot to you guys,
No,
but
that's a lot. Yeah.
I'm blind and I work, but I only work part-time so I can stay under my income cliff because otherwise I'd lose a third of my income. So not that it matters, but I only make $2,900 a month. So getting $360 of that a month chewed out for nothing it hurts. It hurts a lot. I mean, I'm not like wondering where my next meal's gonna come from, but it's definitely a squeeze. And the first thing you do is cut the fat, so I have no subscriptions or anything like that are extra. I think I still have my Netflix, but that's it. So, and I know I'm in a much better position than other people are in right now. So if you think it's squeezing me, can you imagine what it's doing to people who are one incident away from being homeless, from being, absolutely out there with their ass hanging in the breeze and nobody caring. So that's the thing that we're all having to deal with on varying different degrees, and that's why we're all so fucking upset. And if people can't understand that are supporting Trump, then fuck them and feed them fish heads, because man, this is some crazy shit we're having to live with, and they voted for this shit, but we're all having to suffer for it. And so right now, yes, we're fucking bad.
High profile
So right here's the mRNA shots like disrupting the blood-brain barrier.
Well, I know you guys know that the maggots like to come in here because they're allowed to speak in here. Hopefully, it's not a disrespect to you guys, but I think I work with people who have certain views as well, and I have to listen to them for 8 hours, so sometimes 16. So you guys have to listen to these maggots for 5 to 6 hours, where you're in 420. There should be a room where we will allow the MAGA people how Trump is positive, has positive outcomes for our country. They need to go down one by one and tell us everything he's done that has been positive for this country. And I don't mean the wealthy. I'm talking about the quote-unquote working class people, how they're benefiting from his presidencies, the different outcomes, how schools have improved, how healthcare has improved, how infrastructure has improved. And I want to see tangible things. I just don't want to hear podcasts going left and right and all front and center. I want to see how the Trump presidency has really and move us forward as people, because all I'm hearing is cuts this, cut there, eliminate that, get rid of this, and I just see a lot of suffering. So you guys get your talking points together, do your research, don't we have to back it up with data, and don't put stuff in the chat like Pink Pill did in the first paragraph we read. Counterclaim, claim. You have to be able to tell us exactly how you feel this country has advanced and moved forward since Donald Trump's been in office.
I like that idea. Lisa, I would like just. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. No, go ahead. I said, Lisa, when you have to tell me, because I can imagine. I noticed since you've been allowing us to come on the stage, there has been an absence of some of the people. I don't know if I'm just my hope is that we're not causing any rift amongst anybody.
No, this is 420, and it's been 420. It's been the same road. And there was just people that we just have more of you. I mean, there was just Anthony was coming in, and then we had an occasional. Anthony, Casey. Tonight was the first time has ever been on my stage, ever. Ever.
I'm not playing Lisa, please for me.
I'm sorry.
On this point, 3 point.
Who's Point?
Point. What the hell is it?
Point blank, cappuccino.
The one that has the face, like
I haven't heard cappuccino. Point has been opening her own rooms a lot. I have to
I've seen them. Because resources in there too.
I won't go in there, but I know that's right.
Okay, I'm not Curtis just got it. But Lisa, you missed it last night. I think you went to sleep, but the room turned into a very actionable, problem-solving, forward-looking space. Positivity.
CEO came in here, and your honor was in here, but there was some guy down at the bottom who was howling screaming. That's when
I think that's a little after that. It really did go positive in the group. And plus, can you believe that the group went super positive?
And don't forget the
I love it here. This is so great.
What made it so good?
after hours of sleep.
No, it wasn't that you want to sleep in your always gracious space. It was just that it wasn't so hostile. It wasn't so toxic. And there was a mix of voices, including a mix of political opinions. But everybody would take it to basically there was a protocol that people had self-organized about. I think it would be worth it to try to tap that. Because I think a big part of it.
It was already a lot of this year.